for those who don't know what Iboga is, so Ibogaine and Ibogaine is an extract from the Iboga plant, and Iboga is a bark, I think, traditionally from Gabon. So that's in West Africa, I believe. And the plant is known for its ability to help people come off of opioids, I believe, but also they found that it's really great to help people kind of find a bit more direction in their life. So if you've heard of ayahuasca or similar plants, it would be in that same category as plant medicine. What's really special about Iboga compared to something that you might have heard of more popular ayahuasca is ayahuasca, I feel like, is the mother plant. So ayahuasca, when you go into her world, she's like, hello, welcome home. You're so beautiful. Like it's like your mom kind of giving you that hug after you haven't been home for so long. And Iboga is the stern father. So you come home and he is like, what the heck have you been doing with your life? You need to get your shit together now, And so it's completely different energy. Iboga is a plant that jokes a lot. It's a plant that is very direct. So I think the world of ayahuasca, you need to translate. You see images and pictures, and you need to translate that and create meaning for that in your own life. But Iboga will tell you words. And it's kind of like the best version of you talking to you and giving you advice, And how I heard about it actually was, I think, through a friend, just mentioned it one day in Montreal. And I had Googled it and I was like, this is one of the most interesting things I have ever seen. I had heard about ayahuasca, but this just seemed so different. And I didn't know why or what was more appealing about it, but I was always curious. But I never found an opportunity to do it until one day. I had been talking about it just, again, passively. And my friend goes, oh, an Iboga shaman is coming to the island, to Bali. I was like, oh, interesting. And at that moment, after all my years of research and stuff, I get scared. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to face this plant, like it seemed like a good idea on YouTube. And I'm so happy for all these people, but I don't know if this is a me thing. And I remember, I went to Vietnam for a couple of weeks. At that point, I was living in Bali. My house was here, my lease was here, but I just went to Vietnam to visit one of my employees, meet his family, and just to experience a new culture. And my roommate calls and says, hey, the Iboga is coming, It's like, oh, shoot. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And I come home and my friend here has this float tank center. So it's like you float in a tank, and it's sensory deprivation, all that stuff. So I'm like, I feel like having a float today. I book the float, I go there, and my friend says, oh, Iboga's here. Another friend, Iboga's here, by the way, the shaman. I think he's going to come here today. I was like, cool. Go to my float, forget all about it. And I come out sitting in the recovery center after the float with the tea, and the shaman walks in. And I was like, I've been trying to avoid you. And he's like, I know, you've already been called. Like, oh my gosh. It found me. It found me. Like, I did not seek this out. It really found me. And the experience with Iboga is something so special. I've done it twice. The first time was in Bali, and the second time was in Canada with my mom, actually. So, and my mom is not into that kind of stuff. She just saw a lot of my transformation. So she's like, maybe this could help. And the first time, the experience was, I think, like defragging my brain. So it's kind of like going through all these old files and cleaning things up. It felt like, I went through my whole life, and my grandpa came in and said, call me more. And like, I went through and learned all the places I could improve. And I was really curious about Iboga because of the science behind it. So there's a lot of images, if you Google brain scans before Iboga and after Iboga. And Iboga has the ability to increase our neuroplasticity. And also it has the ability to repair parts of the brain. So if you look at brain scans before and after, you can see some people's brains actually being repaired, the holes or trauma that's been done to the brain actually being fixed and healed and corrected with this plant, which is really incredible. And as a person who's had ADHD and attention things, I thought, okay, this could be interesting from a scientific perspective. And then spiritually, it was incredible, like the connection with the plants and also the connection with Gabon and the spirits and there was just so much there. And afterwards, from each ceremony, you learn something different. But the last one in Canada, at the end of it, it just kind of felt like I closed the chapter, you know, that I arrived to where I need to be. And this feeling of peace kind of came over me. And it's not that I feel peaceful every single day, you know, I'm human, but the underlying feeling, the baseline of my life is so much more peaceful. Like one day I realized I don't have anxiety anymore. I don't feel anxious. That is not a feeling that's common to me anymore. That feels odd to feel anxious. Like, what is that? And if you asked me 2 years before, I would say, I'm anxious today, you know, like, oh, I feel this makes me feel anxious. You know, that was in my vocabulary. And so it really transformed, I think, so many things in my brain and how I interact in the world today.
Yeah, I came across it. I've seen documentaries a few years ago, and they're using it a lot of places to treat addiction. And I know in Gabon, it's like a rite of passage in certain places.
Exactly. And I just want to say also, like, I think a lot of people can be scared of these things because
I am. Yeah. I respect it and what it does, but it's like, wow, sounds scary.
The experiences, yeah.
Sure. So like, I hear you, because it can be scary. Like, am I going to lose my mind? You know, am I going to be out of myself? Like, how does it feel? Like, will I feel like I'm dying? Will I feel sick physically? Like, everyone has these kind of questions that I've heard. And so when my mom said that she was like down to do this, I was like, wait, what, Mom? Like, you sure? Should we watch another YouTube video just to make sure? Like, I don't want to be the person like bring my mom into some stuff she's like not into, you know?
Right.
And she's like, no, I feel ready.
How was the experience?
So her experience, and I think her story is even more powerful than mine, because I'm a person who, you know, lives in Bali, you know, and has like I have a lot of exposure to spirituality all the time. I've done all of these woohoo things, you know, but my mom, she works at the university. She's, you know, she's like the everyday person, and she's about to eat this plant that's going to take her to the moon, you know? So what's going on here? So her experience, so first of all, I want to say that the shamans were amazing. And the group was around my mom's age, mainly ladies, actually, from Montreal, from Quebec, from Ontario. So that made my mom feel very safe. You know, it wasn't all these like young people, you know, who are just like, so that was really nice. And they were really great at dosing. So the big thing is that you can choose your experience. You don't have to have so much. And it's not about the quantity that you have that makes the experience more profound or less. Like, you only need what you need. And that's really important. So the first ceremony my mom has, she said, you know, she didn't see anything. She just felt like things were clearing out of her physically. And she felt very relaxed, you know, and that was her first experience. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was only a few hours. And we were lying down. She had a pillow. She was comfortable. And it wasn't scary at all. And then she said the second experience, she got to start to see things, and she saw things from her childhood. She saw herself talking to herself, telling her, you know, where, you know, she had limitations in giving love. And it was kind of like, I always say, it's like 10 years of therapy in one night, you know, and you just get a lot of good information. And so she started exploring that. And then after that, she went a bit deeper, and then she started seeing herself in a different way. And so I talked to her, maybe it was last week. So this experience happened, let's say 5 months ago. And I talked to her last week, and she said, you know, that Iboga thing changed my life. She said, I look at these situations where I used to feel nervous about maybe work, maybe a colleague or something. And she's like, it doesn't bother me anymore. And I see the relationship with her and my dad even improving. You know, they were already amazing, but I see them more calm and more peaceful. I see her finding joy in simple things. And she seems so content with her life, and she's not looking so much for other things outside of herself to be happy. I see her less stressed. And I think sometimes when we think about spirituality and medicine and healing, we think that the result is being superhuman. I'm this Zen Buddha, or I'm this, person who's not fazed by anything. But I think it's the plants show you how to be human. The plants show you that exactly who you are right now is enough and is okay. And it's our discomfort with our own humanity that causes us so much anxiety.
Yeah.
And so through the medicine, you learn how to be okay with who you are. And I think that is enlightenment for me. That is peace. That is arriving. It's being okay with everything that comes with being human.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you for like describing it and raising awareness about the plants and all of that.
Yeah, because I was familiar with ayahuasca, but not too much with iboga.
Yeah, even saying the differences. I don't think I've ever heard the differences. So how
Yeah.
did you end up trying ayahuasca? Is it around the same times, or is it different times?
Ayahuasca was quite a few years before. So I've done maybe like 10 ayahuasca ceremonies or something like that in the last few years. Yeah, and the first time, like, again, really I tell this story just to show people that like I'm the same, as everyone else who even thinks about doing this. I was in Argentina at the time, and I was thinking, okay, I saw this on YouTube. I watched a documentary. It seems cool. I think it could help me, because I was riddled with anxiety. Like when I remember when I would have a call with a client or something like that, like I would just feel this thing in my heart drop, or if I thought I did something wrong, I'd feel this drop in my heart, my hands would tingle, and I was just so nervous all the time. And, but I thought it was normal. But then one day I was like, maybe there's something that could help. Maybe I could, I could do something about this. And just to give you context, at the time, I was still running businesses. I was a nomad traveling the world. I think I was more of an Instagram influencer at the time. So like I had a lot of things going for me, but deep down, I was still feeling a bit uncomfortable in my own skin, which I feel like we've all felt at some point to different degrees. And so I was like, okay, let's do ayahuasca. I had wanted to do it in Montreal, but it never worked out, the dates, or maybe I didn't have money at the time because I was younger or something like that. And so I was like, let's do it in Peru, because that's where, people do ayahuasca. So I Googled all the places. And my one fear, I had the one fear, I wasn't fear of like the plan. I wasn't afraid of like that, like getting sick, but I was afraid of spiders. I was like so sure that like I was going to go to the Amazon, and I was going to be on this plant, and there was going to be a spider like the size of my hand crawling around, and I was going to freak out. Like, this is my only fear about doing ayahuasca, that there's going to be like a bunch of bugs, and it is just fun. Why I say that is because like we all have these like specific or sometimes irrational things that like don't like, or there's some rationality to it because the Amazon spiders, yeah. But like, that's okay. That's okay. I think sometimes we feel like silly about it. It's like, what if I don't speak the language? Will I be okay? And we're kind of scared to like admit that's a fear of ours. But like, I was scared of spiders. Like, so whatever you're scared of, whether it's the plant itself, seeing stuff, or a spider, or being in a Spanish speaking country, all of it's valid. But I said, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a place that makes me feel really comfortable. So I went to this place called Etnikas, and Etnikas is special because it has Western medicine with ayahuasca. So they have a doctor on site, they have a nurse. It's in the valley, no spiders, not in the Amazon. Like, I felt really safe there, especially for my first time. The second time I went into the Amazon, I'm like, we're going to do this hardcore. But the first time, I wanted my Western comforts. I wanted the things that felt familiar. I wanted to feel safe. I was scared also of the plant. And like, what if I died? I don't know, like I didn't know what could happen in a foreign country. So I went to the place that made me feel the most safe and secure. And I think sometimes when we think about accessing these things, we think, okay, I got to do it the most authentic way. It is authentic. The plant is still the plant. They're like, whatever makes you feel the most comfortable is totally valid. And I was happy I went there. So happy I went there. It's called the Sacred Valley. So it's like all the mountains around. They had a little dog that I loved. You got a massage when you were there. They had yoga classes. Like, it was perfect. And that plant, I drank it. And the first time, I was like, what happened? Like, it felt like just all these images flashing this. I went through like my life. I was like, I don't know what that was. But the second time going into it, I had a bit more control because I knew how it would feel. And I was able to actually, go with the plant and actually discover and open some doors. That whole set of ceremonies was kind of about, clearing out the past, past traumas, what had happened to me before. And I got to relive all of my traumas through my lens today. So I went back to that moment and I stood there as who I am today and saw whatever happened to me at whatever age. And I was able to say, oh, whoa, no one meant to hurt you in that situation. No one meant to do bad. And I got to kind of heal, forgive whoever was involved and move past it. And it was a really beautiful experience.